So, collective obligation. Want to be able to suppress enemies like this, make them glow purple, debuff them, make them go dizzy, they can't do anything, they can't activate the supers, these light bladers, annoying little pests. Control spawns, get your teammates out of trouble, just suppressing things, keeping things nice and controlled. Manipulate, it suits the Warlock down to a T, this gun, the collective obligation. I've got a really nice little setup today that'll enable you to get the best out of this gun and also the best out of your Void subclass. How you can apply volatile, suppress, do loads of extra damage, create loads of elemental wells everywhere, and like I said, just turn the tide on some activities where you can just manipulate everything. So the gun in question is the collective obligation. What it does, it applies all three debuffs. It applies suppress, weaken and volatile. So the weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened or volatile. Once damaged, you hold reload and it'll swap the firing mode. So once you've applied the debuffs, you leech, and then you can sort of transfer that into your gun, hold the reload, and it's going to apply all three debuffs going at the same time, which is super fun. And then recently, at the beginning of this season, it actually got a huge buff for like a rework. So every time you're in the mode where you're doing the suppression and the weakening, it's going to do an extra 20% damage to PvE targets. This is why I'm running Mantle of Battle Harmony, because it has two exotic pieces. I say I break it into two pieces. So what it does is the first part of the exotic is when you haven't got your super, every time you get kills with your void weapon, because I'm on a void subclass, what it's going to do, it's going to give you little chunks of super energy, and when you've got that super energy full, this is the second part now, it's going to give you an extra 20% damage on your void weapons when your super energy is full. So it works really nicely with collective obligation, really nicely. And then on top of that, I just want to touch on Nezarec Sin. It also works really nicely with Nezarec Sin for ability regen. I base this build on damage, so, and plus I've already done a video on Nezarec Sin, but Mantle of Battle Harmony really works nice with this, because you can just keep a chain going of loads and loads of extra damage all of the time, with the recent rework at the beginning of the season also, which I will link. So it's really nice. Mantle of Battle Harmony, collective obligation work absolutely beautifully together, and the way I've got this set up, you can always have the debuffs going. I run Child of the Old Gods. I think everyone knows pretty much what that does, but it'll leave like a little void buddy that's going to weaken the targets. I've also got Feed the Void. Defeating the target, it's going to activate Devour, and it syncs with collective obligation, because when you've got Devour active, every kill you get, it's going to reload your collective obligation. So the synergy on this build is absolutely unreal. And then the way I've got it set up is where we can get all the debuffs going all of the time. So I'm running Suppressor Grenade, because that's the suppression part of the sort of effects ticked, and then I'm also running Echo of Undermining. Your void grenades weaken targets, so I've got the suppression part and the weakening in one grenade. I'm also running Echo of Persistence, Echo of Domineering, and this is the other key one, Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades also grants volatile to your weapons, your void weapons. So, Suppressor, Undermining, that's your two sort of suppressing and the weakening part ticked, and then the very last one is the Instability, so we can always get all three debuffs going. Now I can show you some more clips. Now the sights of the gun are really important. The topmost sort of little bubble that you can see, the very top one, that's a suppression. The middle one is weakening, and the bottom one is volatile. They represent all three buffs, and this is how the best way I found to sort of get them all together. So again, that's going back to the fragments, my suppress and the weakening, and all I've done is shot them a couple of times, and as you can see there, I've got the suppression and the weakening effect charged on the gun. So that's the fragments and the aspects, that's why I have them set up that way, so you can have them like pretty consistently. You can keep that going, and you can just keep applying, and then you're going to get your volatile in between sort of them buffs when you get kills with your grenades, which will just go straight to your gun, and then that's just another way of leeching. And this is the type of stuff you can do with it. You can literally just stand there, stand back, control the spawn, suppress everything, apply 15% debuff to everything with the weakening effect, and it's so good. And in end-game activities, this gun is an absolute game changer. It really is. You can just sit there now and just literally view, pick off little targets like so, suppress everything, keep an eye on your teammates, even if there's anything rushing them, just suppress them like that. And then obviously you've got all that nice volatile action going on as well. And then from a distance, like I said, you can just apply them debuffs, leech the targets like so, and then just fire away, swap the modes, and everything's just going to go pop. They're all dizzy, and everything just consistently just popping everywhere. And because you've got that nice debuff on, you can take advantage of that as well with your Nova Bomb or any other sort of weapons that you want, linears, etc. So altogether, it's a really nice build. I've run it in everything this season. Before the actual buff that they give it this season, it was already good anyway, but since they've buffed it, it's just got even better now. It's like S tier. It's up there with Touch of Malice now. This gun, it is really good. So now this is like what Bungie did at the beginning of the season to this gun. They left a few patch notes where I can leave in the description. So it increased the void leech timer to 15 seconds instead of 10 seconds. They've also removed the cooldown. It's added a 20% extra bonus damage to PvE combatants while the void leech is active, which works absolutely perfect with Mantle of Battle Harmony. That's why I run that. It takes less hits now to fully charge the void leech, so it's literally like a couple of bursts or even like one burst sometimes, and you've got it like straight away. Void leech is also instantly charged when you are affected by debuffs, so it's really nice. And like I said, perfect for like Nightfalls and Master Wellsprings and stuff like that. I've got some more clips, and I mean, look at this, what it's doing to these yellow bars here. It's just literally, they don't know what's happening to them. They've got the debuffed and they're all suppressed. And like I said, there's loads of little bits of synergy you can do. You can like apply the debuff, get extra damage on your Nova Bomb, or you can even use your linears and stuff like that. But these are the light blades that you get in the light blade strike. So basically it can just suppress them, takes them out the super. It stops the super if they've popped it. Just as long as you've got that suppression leached, you can just suppress them and then it'll take them out the super. And it also stops them from doing it. Master Wellspring, perfect. It's got unstoppable pulse rifle this season, don't forget also. So as long as you play back, play at distance, you don't want to be up close with this pulse rifle. You sort of want to be back on your Void Warlock and manipulating the spawns and the gameplay. There you go, that's the unstoppable. What I've also got on this build going, I've also got Void Elemental Wells. I've also got a bit of Fontamite going on there as well, so we could get even more damage on the gun itself, and getting like loads of ability regen back as well. So, and then the other thing I just want to touch on is Sundering Glare. That's another one you can sort of put on the build if you want. Sundering Glare, whenever you're 40 meters away, sorry, you're going to apply 20% debuff. That's just another way. So that is the build. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you the little bits now of the sort of mods that I'm running on my armor, and I'll leave a dim link in the video description if you don't want to listen to my voice anymore. So the final piece of the build, I've already gone over the fragments and the aspects I'm running. I buffed it out with some elemental wells via elemental ordnance, and I also run harmonic siphon to get loads of orbs on my void weapon kills. Elemental ordnance, defeating a combatant with grenade spawns an elemental well, so you're gonna get nice loads of void wells. I also run bountiful wells. I'll double up the wells that you create, so ordnance is going to create me 2, which all contributes towards the ability regen. And I'm also running Fontamite, so every time we pick up one of them elemental wells, we're going to get a 25% damage buff for 10 seconds, which also stacks with a 20% from Mantle of Battle Harmony, so we're going to get an absolute crap ton of damage. And I'm also running Reaping Wellmaker, because every time you use your class ability, your next weapon kill is going to spawn a void elemental well, and we do use our class ability quite a lot on this build because of Child of the Old Gods, which is going to apply that weakening effect towards the target. So Reaping Wellmaker is a really good mod for this build. You get loads and loads of ability regen back with the build, on top of an absolute crap ton of damage on Mantle of Battle Harmony. And this build, all in all, is absolutely perfect build for everything. I already use this build quite a lot anyway, but it just so happens to be this season, this collective obligation being reworked. It's an absolute monster. I hope the build's been good. Have a great day.